everyone, it's Lily here. I'm back. I'm really sorry that I didn't do many videos right after my surgery. It kind of took a lot out of me and I was quite tired for a few weeks after the surgery. So I'm sorry about that, but I'm here to make my first video. I've got 3 videos in my hospital kind of series, and the first one is explaining my surgery, what happened, and giving a bit of detail about what it's like to have Syringomyelia or a shunting surgery. So I'm going to go day by day. On Thursday the 29th of May, I had my surgery. I went into the hospital at 7 AM and I was fasting. I couldn't eat from 2:30 and I couldn't drink from 6 AM. So it was a little annoying, but you know, it wasn't the worst of it. I went into the day surgery admissions at 7. I went into the pre-op place around 8:30 in the morning, and I put a gown on and I had to put a little hat on and shoes because I wanted to wear my Uggies and yeah, and Mum did too, and I'll insert a picture of that because I did take pictures, but unfortunately I didn't take any video because it really did take it out of me and I just really did not feel like doing any videos whilst in the hospital. So I'm sorry about that, but I'll insert pictures along the way, and right now I'll insert a picture of me before surgery with my mum. I went under sedation at 9 o'clock. I went under sedation by the mask. I have a very big phobia of needles, and I think that came about around when I was a baby and little. I have very tiny veins. You can't even see my veins. And it takes 4 or 5 shots for anybody to get any bloods or put an IV in. So it really stresses me out to the point where I start panicking, and it's just best that when it can, that I go under sedation before they put a needle in. So that's what they did. I went under by gas and then they put the needle in, which was fine. What they did in the surgery, now that I know and have a bit of a clear thought about what they did. So they went in on my neck. I'll insert pictures along the way of the scars. So they went in on my neck, right around here, if you could see down here. It's just on my neck. And that's around where the syrinx was, and they inserted a tube there, and then that tube went down into about here, and there's a little scar there as well from where they had to make sure the tube was in. They had to cut through a bit more muscle, so that's why it took a lot out of me, because they had to go a bit deeper, which means obviously more pain, which means more sedation. So my camera died, so I'm not quite sure where I was up to, but I think I'm up to waking up from the surgery. So I woke up around 1, but I wasn't really fully conscious until around 2. And actually I was quite conscious after that, and I thought I'd be a bit more knocked out. But I was going on Instagram and I was putting pictures up around like 3-4 o'clock that day. So it was pretty good. I was on quite a lot of pain medications, so that helped with being comfortable. The nurses were really wonderful, and they were turning me because my rib was sore, and they were helping me out heaps, and any questions I had, they answered them all really nicely, and I'm so thankful for that, because the people around you really do matter and care for you, and it just feels so nice when you're feeling that sick, just to have people there and you know that they care for you. This is wasabi. She's quite large. So on Friday it wasn't a very good day for me because I had very bad rib pain if I turned over onto my back, and it would just hurt to the point where I could not breathe at all. So I needed to have an x-ray, which was really painful because I had to stand up and I had to stay still and I couldn't breathe, and that was really scary. But they found fluid on the lung, but nothing that was too scary. So all I had to do was just do a bit more of the breathing exercises. So in the end, it worked out by itself, and it drained by itself, and I don't have any fluid on my lung anymore, which is good. Doctors just came around every morning and checked that everything was flowing nicely, the fluid was draining, and I was a bit sore, but they helped with that, with breathing exercises and stuff like that. And it's really good because it helped getting my lungs expanding, which meant that fluid would drain easily. And on Saturday, I actually got out of bed and walked to the toilet by myself for the first time, which was nice. And you never really realize how much independence you have until you have to have help going to the toilet and rolling over. So, it's really quite amazing. By Sunday, I was sitting up most of the time. I was feeling a bit sore, but I was just watching TV and just reading my book. Anyway, on Sunday, I was walking around, sitting up most of the time, and I was feeling still quite sore, but I was able to move a lot easier than on Thursday, Friday, and Friday. But I still hadn't eaten very well because I'm not very good on anesthetic and Panadol, and that's what they'd been. And Panadol is what they'd been giving me, so I felt really gassy, and it just wasn't right, and I just did not feel like eating at all. But they had to get me eating before I could leave hospital. So on Sunday I ate a full meal, which was really good, and it was roast chicken actually, and it didn't actually taste that bad. It was quite nice. And by Monday the doctor came around and he said that I could go home. It's always nice to come home and be in a place that you feel fully comfortable with family members and my pets. Tuesday, my leg was getting a bit of tingling, but by Wednesday I woke up and I couldn't really walk that well. And I was a bit confused, but I was like, oh, okay, it's alright. It's probably just side effects or something. So then I was just watching TV on a bed that I had made in my lounge room. And then I got out of bed and I couldn't walk pretty much at all. And also I couldn't go to the bathroom and use the toilet. So that was quite scary because I just didn't understand what was going on, and I was quite scared because I couldn't walk or wee or poop, so that was not fun at all. And at around 6:30 my parents decided that they would take me back into the hospital, and I was in emergency from around 7 till about 9, and they were just ticking off all the major things, just making sure that anything wasn't majorly happening. And it wasn't. If I tried hard enough I could use my mouth and my bladder, but I couldn't use them as much as I could obviously when I am just normally at home. So they checked me in back into the same ward, and everybody was really understanding and caring, and I had Chinese food and watched a TV show, and I was just trying to keep calm because I was a bit confused because I practically couldn't walk at all. I had to have help walking from places, and my legs pretty much felt like massive weights. I just couldn't feel like I could use them at all. So I spent 2 nights in hospital again, and on the second day I was booked in to have an MRI with contrast, which is a fluid that is injected into your body to highlight the serum and see what's going on. So that would have to be taken in by an injection and a needle. So they tried the first time to put an IV in, and it just did not work. The vein just pretty much just perforated or whatever it does. So that was not fun at all. But then top anesthesiast came around and she just said no, just put her under and then you can put the IV in. So that's what they did. So I went under sedation for a second time for a 2-hour MRI. Also, I would not have been able to stay still on my back for 2 hours in my condition. So that was very good that I could be put under sedation. By the time I'd finished, it was around 10 o'clock that I got back because of being in recovery, that I got back into my ward, and by then my registrar, Alistair, he had gone home, so we couldn't look at the MRI. But then early in the morning on the second day, he woke me up actually, and I was like drooling, and it was really weird, but anyway. And he said that he looked at the MRI and it looked fine, and actually my syrinx had almost completely drained. And the only part that hadn't drained was the C5 vertebrae, which controls your bladder, legs and bowels. So that explained everything. Apparently my syrinx was meant to compress within 18 months, but it actually compressed within 5 days, mostly, except for the C5 vertebrae. He said you can go home, it should drain in the next few weeks. So that's what I did, and it was so nice to be back at home again, especially after that traumatic experience. So then I was at home, and I did, within actually a few days, I started regaining leg strength, and I could go to the bathroom and do all of those kind of things that I couldn't do, which meant that the syrinx was draining in the C5 vertebrae, which was really good. Pretty much after that, I just recovered and watched a few series, and started watching Game of Thrones and all of those kind of things that it's just really nice to do when you recover. And I had a bed out in the lounge room, which made it a lot easier to get to things and be with my family whilst also being comfortable. So now I'm pretty much fine. I still have a bit of sore scars and that kind of thing, but I have full use of my bladder, bowel and legs, and everything is pretty much normal, and I'm starting my first week of holidays, and I actually did have a week at school. So that was nice to just be able to be with my friends again and just get into a routine again. I will still have to have a physio because I've lost the use to do heel and toe with my foot, but other than that, life has pretty much gone back to normal, which is really nice. To be honest, it didn't go as smoothly as I hoped it did, but overall everything looks pretty good now, and I'm feeling fine, and my syrinx has pretty much completely compressed. I can't feel the shunt. I do have a little bit of discomfort at night on rolling onto different sides, but other than that, everything's pretty much gone back to normal, and I'm so thankful that nothing went too wrong and that I'm alive and healthy and well and feeling a lot better than I did before the surgery. So that was a bit generalized. I hoped that I could do a bit more of a informational video about this, but it just didn't work out for me in the way that I hoped it did, and I wanted to put up a video for you guys as soon as possible, because you might have been thinking what was going on, because the last time I did a video was about 4 weeks ago. So I just wanted to make this video to reassure you guys that I'm okay and to tell you the story, tell you what happened. I will be making 2 more videos. One is tips for going into hospital, or maybe even a question and answer section. If you guys have any questions related to this or just life in general, then leave them down below in the comments, just literally anything, because I've probably missed half the things that people might be asking about or people might want to know about. So it's so simple just to make another video for all your questions, so leave them down below, no matter what it is, anything, leave them down below. So I'll make tips for going into hospital / Q&A kind of video. And the third one is general updates. And I've got quite a few other videos in my mind, but if you have any suggestions, totally just leave them down below. And thank you so much for being so loyal. And I cannot believe that you guys subscribe to me and watch my videos. It's just wonderful, and I'd like to thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Thank you. Bye.